Yes, indeed. Welcome back to another episode of LANCESCURV. I told you I'd be back quick, and I kept my promise. It wasn't too long. It was about a little less than an hour that we finished up the other show, and I'm back. And a thought hit me yesterday where I was thinking, okay, we're so happy to hear President Donald Trump declassify this information that's hidden. Well, it's not supposed to come out when, like, after 75 years, right? I mean, that's a long time. Most who were around at that time probably wouldn't live to 75, even though we get there sometimes. And then if we get there, then what are we going to do with the information? They should maybe make it 5 years. Who knows? 10 years, but not 75. I really would like to know what they're going to discover, but it hit me, just like the title says, Declassification Dilemma. Will new revelations tarnish Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s image? And that's a funny question because we heard the rumors. You see the banner. It speaks for itself. We go up to this banner here and put it up. It speaks for itself. I'm not trying to smear the man, but those in a non-verbal way, that was the best banner to put up. 2 + 2 is 4. Not to bring up a man's potential or possible actions after he's gone and not here to defend himself, and he shouldn't have to defend himself because that's his business. That's between him and his maker. But I'm going to play devil's advocate here, and I've said this before on this show, that, and my dear friend Angelo told me about this, and me and him grew up together, and I knew him from 6 years old. We speak almost every day, and he knows a lot about me, the ups, the downs, the different changes from 6 years old. He's 4 years older than me, and he's heavy into nature. He studies a lot and reads a lot and watches a lot of, he takes to it. He retains any information that he gets on the natural world. And we were young teenagers. I mean, I might have been 12, might have been 16, but I was always ahead of my age group. So the guys I usually hung out with all my life were usually like a couple years older than me. You know, Landon Price. Yes, Landon Price. We see his comment here. Trying to erase history, had to do what he had to do to keep the blood flowing properly. Exactly. Listen, I'm not making excuses for anybody's infidelities. You know, yeah, Angelo's on top of it from way back then. And this is what he said. He said that any species, a certain animals, not necessarily bugs, right? But certain animals more so than other animals, when they feel as though the threat of death is hanging over their head, that there's, and it's funny, we can make jokes out of this, but there's more of a need to procreate to continue the species. Now, I've said the joke before. It's not like there's some little animal, some little squirrel getting chased by a tiger, and the squirrel's jumping around, and the tiger's down below the tree, he's up in the tree, and the squirrel sees a female squirrel and just chicka. It doesn't work that way. He's scared for his life. He's not thinking about that. He's trying to get up out of there. But you have some near scares, and you feel the atmosphere is not conducive to you living a wonderful life. Well, guess what? That's a stress reliever. It could be that thing to procreate. I'm not making excuses. If this is true, Dr. King, find you a sister. If you're going to do them things, find you a sister. Diddy reportedly hospitalized in New York. You believe that? I don't know. I don't even care. Look how many lives he messed up, and it's proven. Look how he beat that Cassie, down the hallway. So what? That's just, I mean, that's an app that I keep. I have a whole bunch of apps. I mean, bling, 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 bling. Friends send them 50 things, one thing 50 times over. Did you see what I sent you? You didn't respond. I got it like 49 other times. Thank you. If not hundreds. But yeah, so when I look at places in the biggest cities in America, Chicago, New York, Miami, Los Angeles, uh, Dallas. Not that these places are death havens for drive-bys, but there's a lot of stuff. When you pack people up together, a lot of weird things happen. Because they say projects. Let's have projects. And we know, what was it, the Jewish community was in the projects first, and others before Black people were just stuck with us. We stayed there. A lot of us still, the project mentality, but there's something to that, because Dr. Martin Luther King lived under the threat of death, the death threats. And look, if Muhammad Ali had death threats, you know what I mean? And he's a fighter, but behind the things he was saying about the Nation of Islam and the white devils, then Dr. Martin Luther King, he had death threats also. And this is not to condone. I'm not saying that. I'm just looking at it logically. If he did do those things, and again, I don't want to say it. I don't really want to say it. The banner will say it. If Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. indulged in what was behind him, at least find a sister. But under the threat of death, we don't know how we'd react. It's just like people saying back in the day, as they threw him under the bus, yeah, Michael Jackson's a weirdo, man. Look at him. He cutting his face up and messing up. Look, if you had Michael Jackson money and Michael Jackson fame and Michael Jackson's father, who pushed him to great, the father was a piece of work. And oftentimes it's like boxer Roy Jones Jr. His father pushed him to the point where Roy Jones damn near hated him. But look how great Roy Jones became. So it's a balance of two things. But how would you act if you couldn't go anywhere? We're talking about Michael Jackson. I'm just kind of circling around before we get into my reading my notes and stuff, because I'm heavy into research. How would you react if you had his money? Now, if you had his money and you weren't famous, oh, come on, let's go. Let's go buy a car. Let's go shopping. Let's go to the restaurant. Nobody knows you. You just got this money. But if you're as famous as he is, you're going to have the money, but you can't just walk out. That's why he would put on a mask. You know what I mean? You still could tell it was him. But to live a normal life it was beyond his reach. He just, with all he had, he probably enjoyed it, but he didn't know from 5 years old, you're in the spotlight. To live a normal life. He didn't have a childhood. That's why he would have this amusement park and little kids around him, because he was living through them. I don't think he touched none of them kids, but he was hitting off women though, and people didn't think he would, because he was so gentle. Michael Jackson, probably behind closed doors with him. Oh, Michael! Oh my God! Oh my God. I don't want to get too nasty. Beat it! Moonwalking. We'll do that again, Michael. But we don't know what people have to go through. And at that time, death was real. Lynchings were still going around. People getting killed. The Klan. All of this stuff. So if what my friend Angelo said was true, and it affects us humans, look at the conditions in the so-called hoods of America that we're in, because you have hoods and you have other races in there too now, where we don't feel as though there's any hope for life, and there's a threat of death hanging over our head. We go to the corner store, there's a shootout. Wasn't meant for us, but stray bullets kill people. You're not living in suburbia. You're not living in a gated community where everybody's peaceful and well-fed. You're living in this place where there's tension. And so now you visit a young lady, or you're hanging out with her. You might be broke. I mean, I'm painting such a grim picture, right? You might be broke. The check ain't here yet. The check came last week and it's gone. You're broke back again. You just have a few little things in the fridge. You just want to escape into right now. The threat of death is over your head. You're looking at her. She's looking at you. What else you gonna do? Let's do feels good. Let's do something that takes us away from the pain, the threat of death. I'm not saying you know, these were arrangements if this happened. I'm focusing on that, but there's other things that I wrote down that I want to speak about. But I mean, and it's funny, it's ironic. The very people who were against us at that time, and they had some people who were supposedly was on the side of us. He went to the very one, right? Like I said, brother, go for it, sister. You got Coretta at home. Come on, man. But I understand. I've seen different situations, and I'm a little different now. I'm not saying, oh, if that was me, I would do the same thing. But I can understand. Just because you understand something doesn't mean that you condone it or do it, right? If you see a woman who cut up a boyfriend and you found out that the boyfriend was in there messing with that woman's daughters all the way. I've heard and know situations like that, right? I never kept quiet about it. It was already brought to justice, but I know of situations like that. And they say, oh, she's crazy. She cut her boyfriend up. And you don't know why. You might, oh, yeah, she's crazy. I would never do that. You got to be crazy to do something like that. But a lot of us will be driven to the point of being crazy. And now when you find out that he was sexually molesting her daughters, all of them, then you realize. Now, you may not cut the boyfriend up, but you say, you know what? I understand. I know of a situation where, I don't want to say too much detail. A friend of mine, I haven't spoken to him in a long time. We kind of lost contact. But she took in this boyfriend who was homeless, and she didn't even have a place of her own. She was living in her mother's basement. But her daughter was there, and there was a family, and they can go upstairs and everything, but she was sleeping, and her space was in the basement. So she liked to go out. So sometimes she'd go out and say, I'm going to go out for a couple hours, you know, on her own. You know, women want to have that sense of still independence. You know, her situation wasn't so perfect. I mean, she was in the basement. Basement wasn't fixed up all the way. It was cold. Daughter, you know, the daughter was upstairs with them, but sometimes the daughter would stay with him. And how are you going to leave your daughter with some dude that basically you just met? I don't care if 2 or 3 months went by. Now you're leaving out. Take your daughter with you. If she's tired, you stay your ass inside. So, you know, she came back, nothing was wrong, whatever. But the daughter had a sister. I hate to say half sister, right? From somebody she dealt with before. And that daughter, the half sister, at a friend's house with her half sister, right? So when the father of that half sister came by to pick his daughter up, homegirl wasn't home, and he wasn't expected to come over, and the mother was upstairs. So what's his name? The ex-homeless boyfriend. He was in his glory. He had both of them in doing that. And so he had the door locked to go down to the basement, and that door is always open. And so he tried to open the door, the father of the half sister, and he asked the mother, not the mother of the child, but her mother, the grandmother of the daughter, the door is locked. Who's down there? Because the two girls can't be there by themselves. Oh, and she said, the door is locked? No, so-and-so was down there. He knew right away. So homeboy downstairs didn't know that the tried to twist the door, this guy came. He put one hell kick on that door. Boom! Ran down there and saw what no father wants to see. I don't know what happened after that, except what he did to the man. He didn't kill him, but he was immediately locked up. And the funny part about it is, this is the spooky part about it to me. When this happened, right before, listen to this part now. If you're going to go, just listen to this part. Right before this happened, on the timeline, because say, for example, this was 2:43 in the afternoon, when the father of the half-sister kicked the door in to see his daughter and the half-sister being molested. Well, at 2:40 or 2:39, he had already did stuff, the evidence and their body parts and everything, and he was going for another round. 4 minutes before the door got kicked in, to discover him going for a second round with his foolishness, nastiness, he took a picture. The picture didn't look bad. The picture was him, his head down, and the head of one of the daughters and the head of the other. They were close, like he was cuddling them. But here's the timing. On her phone, right? The mother who wanted to go out, who left her daughter and the half-sister with the ex-homeless boyfriend. An alert goes on the phone, and she's looking at the phone. Oh, this is so wholesome. I love him so much. He loves the girl so much. He's such a good man. Meanwhile, she didn't know that as she looked at that photo, the baby daddy will say, just for, he was there kicking his behind in the cops, and she walked in and there was a big scene because he was getting taken away. And there's blood all over the place. And then the authorities would take the children because they had to check for evidence of the obvious and other signs. You know how they do. What I'm saying is that you just don't know. Now, there's nothing justified in that at all. What I'm saying with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as a grown man and on the forefront, you don't know. You don't know what your last minute. Riri, how are you doing, sweetheart? You don't know when your time is coming, and I don't know. Maybe that holds true about the animals and what they reproduce. It could have been just, well, I feel under the threat of death, and I'd like to pick that white woman over there up. Let's go and try to reproduce, have a couple of white babies. No. And maybe he was not, maybe that could be an excuse if I say that. Maybe he would use that as an excuse. I don't know. But I know one thing, when you have death hanging over your head, the world looks different, and you don't know what you'll do. You get superhuman strength. when you really see that your life might be ending, who knows what we'll do. Everybody's different. That's all I'll say. Let me read some of the notes here. A few technical things. The recent executive order by President Donald Trump to declassify files related to the assassination of John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, and Martin Luther King Jr. They all got last names that start with K, right? KKK. Has reignited discussions about these pivotal figures in American history. While the primary focus is on uncovering truths about their deaths, there's anticipation that the declassified FBI files on Dr. King might reveal personal details, including allegations of infidelity and other moral shortcomings. This raises the critical question: if these files disclose immoral behavior by Dr. King, will it alter the world's perception of him as a righteous leader and diminish his monumental contributions to civil rights? I don't think so. I don't think it should. We all have done dirt, different types of dirt, not the same dirt, but we've all done dirt. All I'm saying is that he still put his life on the line. He still did a phenomenal work, even though at the end he felt he was leading his people into a burning house. And I'm glad he got to that point. But once they saw that he was waking up and not looking for the kumbaya moment with the enemy, they really had to get rid of him. Because imagine, he was beginning to turn into a Malcolm X-like figure, even though he was a Christian, with the pull that he had, the influence, the charisma. And what I'm saying is that So what? So what? Look what he did. Look what he contributed to the civil rights movement. Again, this is not a pass. I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying, you know, he was a human being. And if this was brought out to smear him, then we need to unify. And you know, I'm a Malcolm X man. I was never a Martin Luther King Jr. kind of guy, but I understood his value and what he did. But we need to just collectively on social media just say, so what? Look what he did. He's not alive, and probably he wouldn't be with us now. Maybe, we don't know. But he gave his life. You know, he didn't say, oh, just take my life. No, but what he was doing, he had to know eventually that something may happen. You know what I mean? And I don't want them to reveal gory details, because if there are things, it's going to have to come out. But are you ready? I happen to know there are a lot of YouTubers that are pro-black, a lot. I wouldn't say all, but a whole lot. I'm trying to wipe my eye. I already got something on my finger, so it's like I'm jamming something in my eye. Wait a second. That finger wasn't dry. It was like some food or something. I'm trying to ram up in my eye. Weird. But yeah, there were many YouTubers and social media figures and well-known people that they can't wait to get their hands on that white flesh. I'm not telling, but there are a few. I'm not saying all, but very prominent. You pick up things and you overhear things and you have conversations with them, and you know, so what you think, Lance? You want to be down with? Nah, man. Nah, nada. I say, listen, man, that's your business. I ain't saying nothing, man. Or you overhear things, and I'm always in the right place at the right time, but I don't know what it is about the wiring. And those are just YouTubers. But then this extends on to the secret lives of these revolutionaries and just most prominent figures across different races. It's not just Black revolutionaries who want white women on the next Oprah Winfrey. You know what I mean? Coming up on Jerry Springer. No. You are the father. Martin Luther King had little white babies running around here, right? I don't want to diminish the good that he's done. Look, we got family members who we know their dirty little secrets, and they've raised good families, taking care of you. You get older and you hear things. It's life. So I'm just urging you, please. We're not giving anybody a pass. Well, you're out there doing your thing. You know, look, you got pastors out here who, that's the reason why they are a pastor. To be in position to get the fringe benefits, which shouldn't be fringe benefits. That's just the way it works. Especially when you have a man of power and influence. That is an extreme turn on. Let's just talk the human side of it. Aside from civil rights and aside from those things, you got a man who is risking his life, not just for one event, not just for a season, but for many, many, many years. And people know who you are. You're all over TV, all over the newspaper, Jet Magazine, Ebony Magazine, Sepia Magazine. Remember Sepia from way back? When did that end? In the 70s? That was around in the 60s. Jet, little Jet Magazine. And Jet Magazine, if you'll remember, if you can go back that far, Jet Magazine was vicious. They had to pull back a lot. I don't think nobody demanded that, but back in the 50s, because I wasn't born until 63, but on our coffee table and just in crates and stuff, you'd pull out old Jet magazines and look at it, man. If they had somebody who was beheaded, I'll never forget that. There was somebody who had their head chopped off, but the head was chopped off next to the body. They showed it. But you know what? That's necessary to show the viciousness of how these people could be toward us. And again, I say, could you imagine if we had smartphones during slavery? See and how they cover things up in history and want to erase things to make it not so bad. So in high school and elementary school and middle school, junior high school, college, if what we get is a not so bad version, what really happened? I mean, we know what happened, but it's worse than what we know. So that's why I say they're tearing down so many things about us and putting out lies and stealing our inventions and putting their face on it, everything to diminish us. And they're using social media to do so. Mind control. We got to take charge and at some point say, well, listen, so what? So what? I heard of a man in Orlando who had about 8 children. He lived in this particular house with his wife for a very long time. They got married young. They had 8 children, spread out, not like every year, but they were damn near 40 now, and they had 8 children. They were having children from the teenage years. I think they got married in their early 20s. So there was a woman next door. The houses were close together. And there was like a little gate between the yards. And when they bought the house, it was like that. They never blocked it. So you could just lift up, a little gate, lift a little and pull it back between. And this lady next door, very attractive woman, around the same age group, just a little younger, she began to have children also. And her children would play with their children. Her and her husband's children would play with the lady next door's children. And they couldn't figure it out. Like, okay, we're not in your business, but we live so close to you. We never see you with a man or a man coming over, or you go to a man and he comes pick you up. We don't see that. So it's like a second baby, a third baby, a fourth baby. She had 8. As a woman married to the man was having children, she was having children, but she never saw, or well, he said he never saw nobody either. You know what's happened. Homeboy didn't have to hop the fence. It was so convenient for him to lift the fence up and go visit the lady next door. So you know what I'm trying to say. The wife had 8 kids. The next door neighbor had 8 kids, and they all played together. Those were his kids. He was hopping the fence. He worked a lot. The lady next door, I don't think she was on welfare, but she was kept up pretty well. All the attention she wanted from the husband, minus those little visits at night. She had no complaint. Did she give him a pass? No. She gave him the riot act. But she also said, how bad could this be? This hurt me. I don't trust you. But you take care of your kids, and I can see that on both sides of the fence. You're always home. Listen, who wouldn't always be home with all that action going on? You don't have to go across town. I'm just joking. You don't have to go across town. You don't have to make no excuse. You might say, I'm just going to go sit up in the backyard for a little while. And you peek into your bedroom. You already took care of your wife. She's fast asleep. You're like, let me go over here next door. I'm not going to stay too long. And then that other woman knows that you're over there with your wife, because this is what I know. The other woman doesn't want to be other woman behind her. Well, I know you're married, and I wish it was me and you. Now, I'm adding on to the story. I'm going to get on with the story, but this is funny. And this is life. Y'all know there better not be nobody else. So sometimes, especially in the Black community, that other woman, you better not come behind and mess around a third one. Now you got hell to pay, because now I'm going to reveal myself, blow you up with your wife. And you ain't going to have me no more. And you better, you see what I mean? So she kept her mouth shut. Dysfunctional? Yes. Do I condone it? No. It is what it is. This kind of thing happens. So we're going to start talking about relationships soon, just the dysfunctional things and things we see that become so commonplace that we don't really question, but that happens a lot. And again, before I go on with the Martin Luther King Jr. story, because there's people coming, what's he talking about? That's not what the banner says. You know, I always do that. That the other woman who is made to feel as though something special, she'll be like, okay, I respect the wife. She's not respecting the wife, but you know, I'll play my position and I won't say nothing. Well, in that situation, I heard they all kind of worked it out. What you gonna do? 8 kids? 8 kids? What, you gonna leave him now? Put him on child support? Now he can't take, he'll be all messed up. I heard they became the best of friends. It wasn't an open relationship, but it was like he was still going over there though. But that's the trauma we've been through. And on the flip side, I'll say that with the threat of death that hung over the heads of us males in slavery, comfort, not even just sex, but the comfort of a woman, I could imagine was very much irresistible, regardless of where it came from. When you see somebody you know have their testicles cut off, or some white man jam something up in your backside, or screw you in front of all your family, and you see this, or you experience, anything goes. You get hungry enough. I'm not gonna say you eat anything. You drop it in the dirt, you're like, I ain't gonna eat that. If you ain't eat for 4 or 5 days, you're picking, scraping dirt off, and you know what I mean? Getting the bite, what little you can bite. So desperate times call for desperate measures. It's not about PUSSY. It's the comfort. It's just that with Dr. Martin Luther King, if these allegations are true, it was well planned. Like he couldn't be seen, whatever. And these old voyeurs at the counterintelligence program, they were like, we got something on him. Let me just continue to read off some more of these notes, and I'm gonna lead up to something. I'm gonna freestyle something, right? I'm gonna get a little technical here. Under the leadership of J. Edgar Hoover, the FBI initiated extensive surveillance of Martin Luther King Jr. during the 1960s. This was part of the counterintelligence project, which aimed to discredit and neutralize perceived threats to national security. Dr. King was subjected to wiretaps, infiltration, and smear campaigns, with the FBI attempting to expose alleged personal indiscretions to undermine his leadership. The declassified files may include surveillance records, detailed accounts of Dr. King's activities, both public and private, alleged evidence of infidelity, documents or recordings suggesting extramarital affairs, internal FBI communications, memos and letters discussing strategies to discredit Dr. King. It's essential to approach these potential revelations critically, considering the FBI's intent to tarnish Dr. King's reputation. So really and truly, at the end of the day, who's walking around with more venom? I'm not saying he was okay to do what he did, but they would definitely to discredit him because of what he meant to the Black community. It could have been anybody who was in Dr. King's shoes. It could have been a person who was addicted to drugs, and all they had was, oh, he's on drugs. Or maybe you wanted to get a little shot of whiskey to calm him down. Again, I'm not saying that what he was doing was right. I'm not condoning him cheating on Coretta Scott King. All I'm saying is look at the circumstances. He couldn't move one bit. They got us all like this on social media right now. We could all be surveilled easy to the camera that's in our computer or attached to our computer. So easy now that we put messages out and they can intercept it. No matter how much they say, oh, it's encrypted and nobody can, they can do what they want to do. It just may be a little harder. So we got to think twice. Like if you dig that deep, you're going to find something on somebody. It may not be to that magnitude, but for the work he did, which when I was younger, like I said, I was a Malcolm X guy, and I didn't getting kicked in the head, and we should overcome. But I understand a little more now and how he evolved. And he had to evolve. But now you go, okay, what I'm hearing and what I heard on other podcasts, I'm not taking credit for this, right? And when I have to go to my history and put the link below so you can hear it, was that Donald Trump wanted to declassify these documents with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., John F. Kennedy, and Robert F. Kennedy, because he wanted to show the world what he's up against as far as the deep state is concerned, the shadow government that operate primarily through the Democratic Party, and how all of this stuff of killing people and coming after Black people, talking out of one side of your mouth, but you're really doing something else. He wants to reveal how they operate. So you can see for yourself that the Democratic Party, all down through the decades, they were the ones effing everything up. Sounds feasible. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. I could imagine when the internet gets their hands on this information, pro and con, that's all you're gonna hear about, not even for like days, weeks, months. It's gonna be years, because there's so many ways of looking, and now we can piece certain things together that were once rumor, now we have it as fact. But again, don't let it diminish what he accomplished. Now, Malcolm X, I feel, he didn't say nothing about declassifying that. That's what I want to see. Not because I'm thinking of anything Malcolm did wrong, because we know he lived clean. He lived clean. When they had the autopsy, they cut up the guy who did the autopsy said, I never saw a man's inside so clean. I mean, you could eat clean and still be screwing around. All I'm saying, he lived a life of discipline, big time, you know? Yes, King of Founders Village, welcome on in. I didn't acknowledge a few folks that came in. Matthew White, Sweet D, Riri, I called you out. Landon Price, Renee Green. Yes, everybody's here. Well, not everybody. When I do shows throughout the day, I don't expect everybody to be at every show. Today's one of those days. We still have Neil Frazier on, aka Metamorphosis, on at 8 o'clock my time, which is 3 o'clock East Coast time. So you can count back. As always, I haven't completed the link yet. I want to make a nice little banner. I want to write a little article myself, you know. Malik Aziz should come on in another hour and 20 minutes. But if you're on Substack, it's already up there. It's a show that's over an hour, but very, very, very powerful. And again, you know, go to Substack, LANCESCURV, and subscribe. You'll get everything. And I will be leaking things there early. All right. Let me see. I'll find that link again. I put it away already. But yeah, it remains to be seen. And it wouldn't change. And I hope with his children, you know, the ones that are surviving or survived and whatever, grandchildren, I hope that they don't, you know, feel a funny kind of way, because we're all adults. Listen, if they would follow me around like that my whole life, they wouldn't have enough time to read off all the dirt I did in my life. You know what I mean? I had to get to a point like, hey, right? Queen J, welcome on in. Yeah, it's been a while, but you're here. Don't forget to go to Substack and subscribe. It's free. Let me find that, because I haven't seen it in a while, just for those who haven't seen it in a while. I should have left this link out. I put it away. Okay, here it is. Let me see. And like I said, I'm going to do a lot there. I'm going to prove it by what I do today. Okay, here it is. I got to make some new graphics and drop these links and stuff like that, but I'll put it in here just for you, right? It's free. It's just about your email address and having a direct relationship with me with content that cannot be taken down. And it goes from me into your inbox. You can see it and it's uploaded on Substack. So if YouTube was to take my stuff down, they can't touch that. And there's so many ways of communicating and different, like I said, that's going to be my website. I already have my website, but because it does so much more for the money, because I still have to pay for my website. Right. But yeah, it's pathetic. So and then we'll understand why Trump is declassified. Is it really for that reason? Or is it because how people say, oh, he's racist and he wants to, but is he racist toward John F. Kennedy? And look, John F. Kennedy and Marilyn Monroe and Robert F. Kennedy, they were, like when you play table tennis, they were hitting her. So there's a lot of dirt that's going to come out. So what about the good that these people did? If you go into Mike Tyson's history, come on, if you go back when I was in my 20s, woo, I'm glad to be alive. So come on, what good do they do? What do they evolve into? You know what I mean? Yeah. Substack is the bomb. I'm telling you. Oh man. Not to get back off on that subject, but I've been doing this for a number of years, and there are a lot of things you have to pay for on your own website to make it work a certain way. There are other things you have to purchase and programs and different things to keep that whole thing going, not just for the website, but social media. There's and this is not me like trying to sell something to somebody. I'm telling you what it means to me. It cut my workflow. It has so many things that I paid for separately. I'm like, how could they do this? And then to be able to upload directly to the platform means a lot. For the consumer of a video, you see a link, you click it. But usually it's embedded on a site from YouTube. So like on my site, all these years I've been doing these videos on my old channel. I had almost 6,000 videos. I would embed it on my site and have something that I write under, right? Now you go there to those videos that were removed. The writing is still there, but where it's embedded, video not available. So now they jacked up my whole site. Is like most of it, your stuff that's empty. But you go on Substack, all that stuff you upload it directly, because most of the time you're not going to go in the you're going to have to put it somewhere else and let them house it and host it. But very seldom, because if you have to go, people say, why don't you pay to host your own videos? You know how much that's going to cost? The YouTube is so powerful. All these Rumble's powerful. Different ones are powerful. Obviously, Substack is powerful. But and say, for example, you have 25 videos and you get thousands of people watching those videos, it's gonna be a burden. It's not gonna show. So this for me is a godsend. I was never ever gonna quit, but it becomes a pain on that level where you're paying out for so much. People don't understand the way I did it. I don't know about other people. Some people just pick up their phone and go do YouTube. I write, I draw, I do all these other things. I like to have the chat room. I like to have the way to make my shorts and all that comes damn near free. The only thing is that I can't design the Substack page like I do my website, because I still have the website. I'm going to make that decision within the next 2 days. Not to take it down, but to download everything, keep it, and just work on this and take the domain name and point it to Substack. So you just go there. I'm about to get some cards made up and in America and have them sent out here, because it's a company I work with, and I gotta know what I'm doing, but it's a very good thing, What you say, Landon? A lot of folks chasing balls to see it genuine. Oh, yeah, thank you. On any level, I'm sitting here chilling with y'all. But let me go back, reading off a little more what I put down. And yes, I did that banner on purpose. I didn't want to be too bad with it. But again, I ended up being bad with it. But then again, I don't do clickbait. I don't do stuff to lie to get you to click on the video. But I will put a suggestive something sometime. Now, if this was the real deal in life, Trump would be looking at her just as much. Look what he said. Martin Luther King never said the same things he said, but I understand Donald Trump's arrogance. He's a New Yorker. He got that New York arrogance. He's white. He's rich. You know, we used to drive through his neighborhood. He lived in Jamaica Estates. His father's house was in Jamaica Estates. You know what I mean? We always used to drive through there. You know, so I understand him, but it doesn't mean I condone him. A lot of situations, we have to expand our mind to at least understand, right? But it doesn't mean that we condone the person. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean that we condone it. So that being said, it's that goes a long way in how we understand people and how we get along in life. So we have to know ourselves what we'll go for and what we won't go for. But to say, listen, I can understand you. We don't come up the same way, but I understand you. Let me read this off. All right. The moral paragon, Dr. King's established image. Dr. King is globally revered as a moral and spiritual who championed nonviolent resistance and equality. His I Have a Dream speech and leadership during the civil rights movement have cemented his legacy as a symbol of justice and righteousness. If the declassified files substantiate claims of personal moral failings, reactions may vary. Erosion of trust. Some may feel betrayed, questioning the authenticity of his public persona. Humanization of the icon. Others may view these revelations as a reminder of his humanity, acknowledging that leaders can have personal flaws yet achieve greatness. That's where I stand. You can have personal flaws yet achieve greatness. Look at how many people out here, right, who have this great image, but yet they definitely have things extreme with them, but those other people sweep it under the rug. What's the guy's name that he was a pedophile and fled the country, and people are defending this guy? This was from years back. There's so much in my head, you know, and I'm not going to recall everything, and I have to go and search it and whatever. I'm not going to do that. It's just one of those things that hit my head. But their icons, they protect them. I want to see how the others deal with anything that may come out that may not be pristine about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I want to see how they, you know, this is going to stir up a lot of stuff. And those who may not have the same ideology, will they use this if something negative comes out against them? You know, look, it's not going to change. It's not going to change how I feel about let's focus on the good of what he did. He's not here to defend himself. And if he could, with the evidence there, what's he going to say? But look at a Diddy. Look at a R. Kelly, who ain't doing nothing for nobody on no righteous level. Maybe they would have, R. Kelly, P. Diddy may have donated or given some turkeys at Thanksgiving or gave away something as a gesture or a tax write-off, like when Oprah used to give away all them cars to them white women. Oprah never came to the hood. I'm not saying hood means black, yo. I'm just being funny. And look at how many people defend this guy. Oh, I hope he gets out and nothing touch. What are you talking about? If he showed up here right now, I'd probably knock all he's done to people, and you get to see a free fight. It won't even be a fight. I will beat him down. I'll beat him down to my knuckles are beat down. I'll earn my brownie points in the afterlife. Listen, God, I might have done some crazy things back in the day, but I'm trying to earn this right now. And as a society, we're so sick focusing on everything else. When you look at a site like TMZ, they try to butter it up and have nice light moments and everything, but they want to be there at the gritty. And they have a network of people looking for dirt. It's the modern day counterintelligence program. Because when Tiger Woods The first time the thing that happened with his wife, and he ended up in the hospital, that hospital was about maybe 2.5 miles from where I lived in Orlando. And as soon as it happened, the TMZ folks were on it. I mean, it's like from the ambulance. He's sitting there laying there. Oh, excuse me, TMZ. They got their agents all over the place. And again, social media is the modern day counterintelligence program. But you think it's all fun and we can entertain ourselves and everything, but you've made a deal with the devil, as we all have. For me to be on, you think I have any secrets? I have no secrets. I get pictures sent to me from years ago in compromising positions. Young ladies, remember when you were doing that to me last? I took a picture. I'm like, oh my God, I don't care. I don't care. No, really, I'm not saying it to be tough. I don't care. I got a whole bunch of things that people have sent me. Just clear your phone, y'all. You're going to die one day. Oh my God, you did this? Ain't nobody perfect. And nobody can hide anymore. You go in and send a picture of something that's compromised and delete it. Don't you know in the service it never gets deleted? Everything about you and your communications are there. So I don't care. I tell some crazy jokes. I tell some crazy stories of back in the day. I'm a nutcase. Something's wrong with me. But I don't care. That's why I'm not getting old quick. Don't worry about them things. I never harmed nobody. I never did any diddyisms. Straight hetero. What do I got to worry about? Consenting adults? Yeah. I did it. Tell you more about it, what I did? You know what I mean? So what? But what good did I do? How did I affect somebody? How did I motivate somebody? How did you motivate somebody? But these things come up to compromise you if you go for a certain level, a certain status that certain folks feel you don't need to go to, but they're going to be armed with something from the internet or from breaking into your stuff. So what? They had the Me Too movement. I used to joke and say I had my own movement. What movement is that, Lance? The Not Me movement. So for this day and age, we need to make the hashtag so what when it comes to Martin Luther King Jr. and whatever they reveal, even Robert F. Kennedy, all of that. They got families. And if you declassify some of it, you're going to have to do all of it, obviously, right? You got to do all of it. I understand that. I have no problem with that either. And Martin Luther King knew he was being followed, and maybe he didn't know how much it went down with the wiretaps and the surveillance and stuff, how far they go, but he had to know. Maybe he got to a point where he said, I don't care either. Any day I can go. Any day I've given my life. I put myself on the front line. I can go any day. You know what? If this is my vice, so what? They ain't talking about him being with a man, which doesn't make him being with another woman other than his wife any better. Again, for those who just came in, I'm not condoning what he did. I understand it. The threat of death every single day. There's certain foods I wouldn't eat right now. They said, Lance, you might get shot tomorrow. Oh, let me go eat this food. You know what I mean? This might be the last time I can get some. Human. Think to yourself the things that you've done being a human that maybe you don't want to have get out into the world. I'm not talking about no messing with kids or robbing somebody or beating somebody with a head. I'm talking about just normal stuff that maybe I wouldn't want that to get out. I did a lot of that back in the day. Going over women's houses late at night. I leave the door unlocked. You got to leave by 5 though. Okay. I'm telling it, so I don't care. We all, like I said, you know. Thank you, Guada 9. Hit the like button, y'all. I don't even like to ask that because I don't, it's like Homeboy, hit the carrier ship, hit the carrier ship, hit the carrier. Come on, man. You done got millions of dollars. You still, if you that, it's there, you know? But like for me, you know, thank you, Guada. A little different. I'm a little shy that way. I'm not shy, but that way I'm shy. I'm shy that way. Let me go back to see what else we can read up here on my notes. I keep getting these phones buzzing off. Let me just check my phone for a second, which is so rude during the show. I have to make sure that everything's okay because my phone buzzes off. My phone loses a charge like quick because the battery gets sucked down so fast. Unbelievable. Let me see. I'm on a live. It's amazing how folks don't realize that I do live shows. I can't answer back right away. You know? But yeah. Okay, let me see. Separating personal failings from public achievements. It's crucial to distinguish between an individual's personal life and their societal contributions. Dr. King's efforts led to significant advancements in civil rights, impacting millions. Do personal imperfections negate these achievements? No, it doesn't. History is replete with leaders whose personal lives were marred by controversy. Thomas Jefferson, allegations of relations with enslaved women. John F. Kennedy, known for extramarital affairs. Despite these issues, their contributions continue to be recognized. Understanding the FBI's motives is essential. The agency's effort to discredit Dr. King were driven by political agendas, raising questions about the credibility and context of the information gathered. Right. Were they telling tall tales when they got this stuff? Did they add on to it? Society often grapples with reconciling a leader's personal flaws with their public deeds. The capacity for forgiveness and understanding plays a pivotal role in shaping collective memory. Releasing sensitive personal information posthumously poses ethical questions. Is it in the public interest to unveil details that could potentially harm the legacy of a figure who contributed significantly to societal progress? I mean, could they just like reveal major things except, you know, is it gory little detail that he got this sucked and he licked that and he did this and swallowed that? And we don't need to hear that part, y'all. There's a line to be drawn. We heard the rumors. We don't even need to see those parts. There's some who are rubbing their hands together. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to see he must have been a freak. I wonder what he did. And there are other people who know and whispered. What good does it do? Now, if you can shed light on who really assassinated him and what part of the government was involved, whether they were involved or not, and we know deep down they were involved. You know? But ultimately, Dr. King's legacy is built upon his relentless pursuit of justice and equality. While personal failings may color historical narratives, they do not erase the positive impact of his life's work. That's like somebody had told me, oh, don't you feel bad they took your channel? I said, no, the impact of what was done is there. The energy's out there. So I don't feel bad about nothing. Your imprint, the energy that you give out is never forgotten. It's like, say, for example, you may have a fire, unfortunately, and all your family pictures are burned down in the fire. Does that erase the memory of your grandparents, your parents, your uncles, your aunts, your children? It doesn't take it from inside your heart, but it's nice to look at the physical and bring back memories. But it doesn't erase that. The photographer who did our wedding, him and his wife, when he sat down and talked and negotiated different packages and stuff, he was like, listen, one of the first things that people go for when their house burns down is the family photos. He said, take care of them. If you want to put them in a safe or something like that, you know, I give it to you on disc, you get the printed version. But just make sure, you don't have to buy anything from us, but take a little extra measure and make sure to protect your photos, because those are the things that are so precious. It's true. You know, we've heard this before, but even voicemails. You have a loved one who, you know, it could be something simple. Like, hey, you know, I'm coming on and you want to bring a pizza for you? But maybe something unfortunate happens and they never end up coming home. So when you hear that voicemail, maybe you don't have recordings of your family. Look, I don't think we do enough in an engineered way with, and this is a different topic, with our families, photos and memories and different things. Just put it down, get a hard drive. You can use your phone, take a lot of this stuff and put it away. No, you're not gonna walk around real life, you know, spending your life just doing that. But, you know, make sure to capture those memories, because it's not just you, because you have the memory in your head if you lost everything. But what about your great grandchildren? Wouldn't you like to know or hear the great grandfather, your great grandmother, all the great, they didn't have the technology back then. But that would be nice to know, to have a feeling of connectedness. My dear friend, I'm not going to say his name, I'll just say Sly Ty. He showed me some pictures of his lineage. I think it was grandfather's grandfather, just like him. Even the way he stood in the picture. I was like, man, you're definitely his DNA. Imprinted, passed down through generations. It's a wonderful thing, right? We wrap this down. The declassification of FBI files on Martin Luther King Jr. may unveil aspects of his personal life previously hidden from public view. While these revelations could influence perceptions, it's imperative to contextualize any disclosed personal imperfections within the broader scope of his enduring contributions to civil rights and social justice. Dr. King's legacy, characterized by his unwavering commitment to equality, is likely to withstand the scrutiny of these new disclosures. And I agree with that. I agree with that. Man gave his life. What do you want him to do? I'm not going to say, hey, God, you're going to judge him. Well, you just, go a little light on him. No, we don't know. Maybe it's a sliding scale on how we get judged in life, right? Or really assessed, because judging is when you don't know. I don't know why they say judgment day. That should be assessment day. You know what I mean? Judging is like I said before, well, what do you think from here to the wall is about 15 feet, right? That's judging because you don't know. When you get the tape measure, you know, oh, that's actually 16 and a third feet. Now you know. You mean God has got to judge because he don't know? Whoever you call God, whatever you call him, I'm just saying this, not about religion, but he knows. What you mean, just he and she too? It's the combined energies. I know that I'm so used to saying he. I'm not being sexist. But that's the way it is. Like I've used the analogy before. You get a judge who has two cases coming at him about this supermarket. You had one guy who drives a Bentley, lives in a gated community in a very affluent neighborhood, lives in a mansion, is a CEO of this big company. He goes into the store. Nobody's looking. He goes to the meat section, has his baggy pants on, and puts a steak down in his pants. And I don't want to eat that steak after down there, right? People eating the steak. It smells like balls. No, I need to do a comedy show soon. I'm breaking out too much. But you get another person who goes in the same store, same steak, pockets full of rice, something to drink in his back, and they catch him. But they found out that he hasn't worked for 2 months. He has a young child at home and 3 other babies, and he's only doing it so they can eat. and he's embarrassed. The other CEO is arrogant. What do you think the judge is going to do? It's on a sliding scale. I can understand that you are hungry. You could have asked, but I got to slap you on the wrist with some probation for a little while. But that's all it's going to be. You got all this money, and you can help people like him. It's not your obligation, but you could. But for the thrill of stealing that steak, you went in there and did that. You need some mental help, and you're going to do some time, because that was totally out of order. So when we assess people, like not judge them, but assess them, what do we really come up with when we assess them? So as I wrap this down, because we're coming back with Malik Aziz in less than an hour, but it's already on Substack. I already put it up there. So anything I got that I'm uploading, I'll put it there first. Some shows like this one, and I'm learning how to go live on Substack too, so I'll do it simultaneously. And sometimes I'll do lives there and not here, because I want to talk a little wilder and talk about jab and talk about Farsi and talk about things they don't want you to talk about, rainbow and all that stuff. I'm gonna start doing that. You know, I'll chop it up and put pieces here on YouTube. So I got to play this game, because like I said, the French government, they got my name and try to block me from Rumble. I showed it at the last show, so don't think I'm trying to blow my head up like I'm some important whatever, because I know it's a lot of people that they did that to. I showed you the documentation. It's crazy out here. So that's why I love Substack so much. And like I said, I'm going to wrap this down. We'll be back, and I'm coming back again at 8 p.m. Ghana time, 3 p.m. East Coast time with Neil Frazier. And I'm going to do some things in between. This is a content day, y'all. There's things I got to do, but as soon as I woke up, boom, I said, let me just throw down some stuff. Now, we got a little less than 2 hours of sunlight. I want to go outside and record something. We'll come back with a Malik show right here on YouTube, and it's already on Substack. It's there, so, you know, but it's a very good show. It's a very good, Malik and Brother Salim put it down. Very passionate show. Not just a black talk show, but they asked some really harsh questions. They got deep, you know, and Malik went in on these YouTubers who want to be the revolutionary, who want to be the one at the podium and telling the truth, the ego thing. There's no ego here. I'm just hanging. I would love for somebody to come and sit next to me either here or come in on the show through the screen electronically and share something with y'all. That's my style. I don't have to talk over them and try to combat them and all that stuff. Nah, I'm hungry for knowledge. I may know a little something, but I pale in comparison to the greats who have studied, like Malik Aziz, Dr. Issa, White Muhammad, the other ones. Like when Akbar Muhammad came to my house in Orlando, and that videotape is up there, his regular conversation, I was like, oh man, let me break out. Excuse me, hold on a second. Could you say that again? Especially when you walk in history. Like Malik Aziz was a bodyguard for Khalid Muhammad and studied for decades up under these people. He sneezes, I smell wisdom. I would usually say when you pass gas, I smell wisdom, but I'll be a little nice. Right? But there's some people you have to honor because of who they are and the work that they put in. And I'm merely a servant. I'm revolutionary in my spirit, but I'm not qualified to teach, like to get up. And a lot of these YouTubers, they pilfer a lot of good information and speak it out their mouth and make you think it's them. A lot. Some are good, right? And some, that's all they're going to be. Pop, 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 pop. And they say some good things, some of them, but no movement behind them. Nothing real. They take down their channel, they're done. You know? And Shaka, yes, you're here a little late, but we good. We got all shows today, everything going on. I'm glad you're catching the last few seconds of it. It'll be up. They take it away. It's going to be on Substack. So make sure to go there, y'all. I don't think I changed. Let me see if I can paste this again. There it is. And I'll put it up again. I'm taper off talking about it because more and more people will be there, but I'm gonna make some graphics so you can see it. And that's about it, y'all. We'll be back on. It's last night's show, so it's not live. It's 4:11 for me now. So how many minutes? Okay, 48 minutes. Yeah, something like that. We'll be back on, but it's a good show. You don't want to miss it. If you don't already see it on Substack, it'll be here. Premiered. I'm gonna go check back on that, and then have to finish up getting ready for Neil Frazier at 8 o'clock my time. And that's gonna be a humdinger. It's gonna be good. You know he always brings it. So I'm waiting for that. I might try to just do something after that also if it hits me. But I'm feeling it. I got things to do in that time. I'm gonna pop it in the chat room there. But that's a very, very good show to watch. But anyway, much love to you all. Take care. I will see you in a little while with Neil Frazier. And let's just end this up right here. But yeah, that's a good amount of y'all in here. I don't want to end it, but we're going to keep it because I'm going to keep coming back. Keep on coming back. Because this is what I do. I live this, y'all. And it brings me great joy to be able to do what it is that I do. I really, really love it. Thank you so much. Peace.
Actually, today I got to meet my friend Lance. Yes, I got to meet my friend Lance. This is my first time meeting him in person, and he's a very kind man, seriously. I do talk with him on phone, on WhatsApp, but I've never got to meet him. But today, it's just extraordinary. He's very, anything you want to know about life, anything you want to know about just him, anything you want to know about life, please. YouTube, Telegram, Instagram, Twitter, all the social media channels, you got to find him there. He's very inspiring. He's very positive. If you want anything positive about life, please subscribe to LANCESCURV. And then every day you got to see different videos, different talks, different topics about life. See you.